So Chris, we're here just after the Psychic Sally challenge. Sally didn't turn up. Are you disappointed at all?
Yeah, I am. It would have been, I think, generated a lot more interest if she turned up, because obviously Sally has been in the news so much. Her claims have come under quite a lot of scrutiny recently, and what we were trying to do was offer her this golden opportunity to put her claims to the test and prove to the world that she really has got these amazing powers. And for whatever reason, she's not turned up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real shame, really, because I suppose people will see this and think we were just trying to prove her wrong. But in many cases, I mean, would you have been just as interested had she been proven right?
I'd have been absolutely fascinated had she been proven right. I mean, as you well know, my personal opinion is that paranormal forces almost certainly do not exist. But that almost certainly is important. You know, I might be wrong. And if I am wrong, and if we could prove that actually these kinds of abilities really do exist, that would be such a phenomenal scientific breakthrough that, yeah, I can cope with a Nobel Prize and maybe 10% of the $1 million,
you know.
A
little bit of grant money for
that'd come in handy. So it would have been great if she turned up, but she didn't.
Well, we're trying not to be too set back by this. I know that we're looking to do a similar kind of challenge every year to people. Do you think it's important for us to be able to offer this opportunity for people who profess paranormal ability to put themselves to the test? I
think it is. I mean, that's for two reasons. One is the possibility that, as I've said before, maybe the skeptics are wrong, maybe paranormal forces really do exist, and by showing that we're actually open-minded enough to kind of basically put our money where our mouths are and actually invite people to be tested, I think that's good and that's useful. But also for the message that it sends out to the wider public that if we find that people either won't come along and be tested, or they come along and they're tested and they fail the test, it might actually get them to think a little bit more closely about whether or not they really should put their faith in psychics.
Well, it was interesting to see that amongst the audience we had people who were fans of Sally, but people who were there to see Sally accept the test and to prove us wrong. Did that surprise you that there were people there who were, you know, believing in what Sally can do, but still wanted her to show up and you know, sock it to the skeptics?
I wouldn't have expected to find very many people, and of course the audience was predominantly a skeptical audience, but it's interesting that some people have such faith in Sally that they actually expected that she would turn up and that she would prove us all wrong. I mean, you know, had she done that, yes, we would have been embarrassed, let's face it. You know, we are kind of implicitly doubting that she does really have these abilities. But I would hope that we would be big enough to be able to get over that initial embarrassment and actually realise what an amazing scientific breakthrough it would be if we could show that these forces really do exist. I'm not holding my breath.
And why is it, do you think, that it's almost slightly ironic that the people who really believe in Sally and the ones who would procure her services would be the very people saying we don't want to put it to the test as to whether this is genuine or not, and it's the people like us who tend not to believe that she's doing what she says, who are trying to, you know, just determine one way or another whether there's any evidence for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, in the past I've been in situations where there's been kind of a lot of internet activity with respect to various psychics. I'm not talking about Sally specifically now. Basically, a lot of people saying, you know, the skeptics would never put you to the test because they know that if they do, they'll be shown to be fools and they're wrong and so on and so forth. And then when you turn around and say, well, yeah, no, okay, no, we'll test it, that's fine. You know, they immediately, the same people say, don't do the test, don't do the test, it's a trick, you know. And as we all know, the general attitude amongst the believers is that the whole James Randi Educational Foundation $1 million challenge is a fix. They constantly go on about the fact that it's a fix. Well, you know, I know from having set up several preliminary tests with JREF, it's not a fix. We bend over backwards to make sure that the conditions are such that the claimants feel that they can operate under those conditions. We go to huge lengths, a great deal of effort to achieve that. And if anyone out there really does believe it's a fix, and they really do believe that they've got special psychic powers or that someone they know has, what I would say that they should do is go for the challenge anyway and then expose JREF for the ways in which they fixed the test unfairly. Because I actually know that wouldn't happen because the tests are fair.
Yeah.